Shop. I'm going to start over here. These are racks of baits, followed by workstation, the testing tank. We'll get to that. There's an injection machine, a toolbox,
and the maker.
Mickey Ellis.
From the age of 21, got involved in stolen parts and bikers and steroids and chicks, and just wasn't going anywhere with it, so left that industry.
I got a really nice email this summer from Mickey Ellis. He told me how much he enjoyed Southern Trout Eaters. He said he really respected the project and the work we'd done. So I picked up the phone, and a few weeks later, I was in Mickey's shop, having an interview, just trying to learn about a guy I didn't know that much about, a guy I hadn't seen or talked to in over 10 years. See, I used to know Mickey Ellis. I fished with Mickey and a crew of friends on Lake Mission Viejo at night, throwing the mission fish in the grass and catching them. It wasn't until this day that I truly understood 316 Lure Company and Mickey Ellis. As you'll hear, the mission fish is literally a tangible product of Mickey's salvation.
Live together, and of course I get kicked out of my place. I have to go somewhere else, you know. So I rented a condo at Lake Mission Viejo.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And then well, I wasn't really into fishing. I remember I was into bikes. I was road racing street bikes, and then building Harleys to make money.
Bikes, tattoos, women, fast crowds.
Parole, you know, I was a parolee and everything, and I just fit into the whole mess. So anyways, now when this meltdown, I really dug on this chicken. So when this meltdown came, literally, I'd come to the end of my rope. I was living my life my way, doing whatever I wanted to do. I lived with a stripper from Captain Cream's for 2 years. You know, real cool chick, but, you know, alcoholic and just messed up. Anyways, this particular girl, on the way out, she booted me out of my own house to take my dog and myself. She handed me a Bible on the way out that she had engraved with my name on it, right? And she said, "Here, I think you can use this." And I'm like, you know, whatever, you know, like, screw you, this is stupid. Anyways, when I moved into the condo, the new condo at Mission, it ended up on the back seat of my toilet. And I started going through this, like, freaking meltdown because I was tired of everything I was doing. Just, like, if I made money, it would just fall through my pockets. If I had anything good, it would just get crushed and destroyed. I mean, just everything I was touching, it was turning into poop, right? And I was finally at my ropes where I was, like, freaking sick of life. I was just sick of it. You know, it didn't add up and it didn't go anywhere. So one day, I was in the bathroom, using the bathroom at my house, at the condo, and that Bible was on the back seat of the toilet, and it was pissing me off that it was there. I was just irritated that it was there, and so I grabbed it and I was staring at it, and I was thinking, wow, my name's on it and all that, and I was pissed off, and I was kind of like, you know what, I'm fucking tired of this. I'm tired of this God thing. I'm tired of all this shit, and I kind of made a deal for God to get out of my life. I'm gonna read this book so you can shut up and leave me alone, right? And then I'll go on, right?
That was the arrangement you thought, okay?
Yeah, I mean, if you really read it and, like, study it as a piece of history, you're just going, dang, you know. And then I closed that book and I gave my life to Jesus, like, in my own way, and instantly just started going to church, you know. And I was still living this nasty lifestyle. So after work, when they start cracking beers and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, I don't feel like this anymore, or, you know, the nastiness in my life, I'd just sneak home and just go kick back. What I'd do is go home and get drunk and then stagger out to the lake and walk down from my condo to the water, and I was sitting out there, and what I was doing is fishing, fly lining the big bass assassins, just fly lining them on 12-pound test as far out as I could, and drilling pigs. And just let it sit in the grass and pop it, sit in the grass and pop it. And it was just a nice little snaky thing. So I'm out there fishing, and I'm drunk and everything, and I know I got to get away from this lifestyle. And literally, I'm out there drunk, and I'm like, I kind of sense God's there, and I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do? I'm literally, these are my words. I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do? I know how to freaking hurt people. I know how to steal things. I know how, I know how to do all this stuff. What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to be good about it? And I'm sitting there, and this is my big brawl with God. And then like 2 weeks later, out of the blue, I'm sitting there, and I'm like this, and the bite at Mission was stitching it real slow. So it was like 1.5 to 2 minutes between twitches on the bottom. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get this, make fishing lures. I never thought about it. I wasn't a guy that tweaked baits or anything like that. I was just like, what? And it shocked me. I heard it in like an audible voice, make fishing lures, simple like that. And I was like, who and what and where and when? But it's just simple. You know what you've done wrong. You acknowledge it inside, alone, just you and God. You say, I know this is wrong. And you say, I'm sorry. And you repent, which means turn away. I want to turn from this, okay? And you turn from it. And you know what? God forgives you right then and there. When you ask for that, you do that movement and that motion. You don't need to be the best kid in the world. You don't have to do everything right. We're all going to fall and stumble. Even the greatest men in the world fall and stumble.
Mickey Ellis found himself through God. And by finding himself, he found his God-given talent in lure design. Mickey Ellis has one of the most diverse product offerings you're going to find. Incredible trout baits, boot tails, the line-through baits most of us came up on in the swim bait world. These are still really effective baits, especially when it comes to tournament fishing. These are good grass baits, not weedless baits, but good grass baits. And what about baby bass? I mean, once you move the conversation from trout eater to what's next, you automatically go to baby bass, or you go to bluegills, or you go to terrestrials, like the bullfrog. This is one of my all-time favorite baits Mickey makes. I mean, realism, hard bait, and soft bait. Like Ken Huddleston, I found Mickey Ellis's beliefs, theories, and experiences around fish behavior are what drive some of his designs and beliefs in the lure making business. There is no right or wrong answer, but it's great conversation.
So here we just did southern trout eaters. I'm like, dude, I want to do yellow perch eaters. I want to do bluegill eaters. I want to do friggin' herring eaters. I want to do, all the above. Baby bass eaters. And
that's one I would like to see. Real good baby, because that's my favorite, baby bass.
I didn't realize. So we'll talk about that a little bit. What's up with the baby bass thing?
See, the funny thing is that not too many. Now, see, if you're on Castaic out on the main points, running and gunning points, right? The bass isn't a place to throw. You're not going to throw a bass out there. I mean, personally, I get funky about that. But what a baby bass needs to do is be tucked up in a tight area, in an area where he's feeling secure. That's where they're looking for him.
That's where they get eaten.
Your lips can just like protrude and just whoa. So, I mean, what a freaking amazing animal. And not only that, how mean they are. I mean, they just come and boom. I mean, it's just
the balls on those fish, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're freaking reckless and insane. And then when a frog's in the water, dude, it's like got so much push and so much mass. It mimics a real frog, and it's gonna get bit every freaking time. Just from when I put my frog over the mat, dude, the mat's going, like a real frog.
You're pushing on it, yeah.
Fly lines it, right? It goes and darts straight into the weeds, and we're standing on a dock, and I'm watching the whole thing. A little 3-pound bass comes over, goes like this, and opens his mouth and goes like this. And then you see the weeds go like this. Then he comes over and huffs again. And then you see it, and he eats it.
Like he was.
He was blowing water on the freaking bluegill to flush it out of the bush, out of the weeds. Now tell me that fish does not know how to get bluegill.
Yeah.
Tell me those fish in that lake aren't really hunting bluegill like a great white's looking for seals.
That's right.
Okay, so as soon as I saw that, and thank God, and it was, I'm not sitting here tooting my own horn. I was sitting there watching a little kid trying to tell. Actually, what I was doing is trying to figure out how to tell this little kid, no, we can't use bluegill for bait. Right?
But you're learning bass behavior in the interim, yeah.
And so as far, me personally, when I build baits, every freaking time I'm bringing the heat. I want to push it, I want to shove it, I want to kick it. Every single time I'm going to push it harder and harder and harder. I don't feel like I've even gotten halfway as far as I want to go. I don't think we've scratched the surface on tomorrow. And and the bottom line, if more of these bait makers got out of the copy, like everybody jumps, Huddleston gets bit, let's all make a Huddleston, and all these great bait makers that go like little calves to the slaughter, they go and jump straight on it. I can make a Huddleston too. Who gives a flying hoot, man?
Right.
Give the guy some room to breathe, let him
Right.
make his bait, and outdo him.
Right.
That's where I'm going to come from.
That's right.
I've never even had the desire to try to make a Huddleston. You know why? Because I can go buy one.
That's right.
And not only that, I don't want to stand next to Ken Huddleston and sell baits, the same thing he's got.
Yeah.
Or a slight spin-off from it.
Sure.
It's a freaking disgusting. If you want to make money, then just go ahead and knock off everybody you want. But if you're here to really catch big fish, if you're here to build baits for guys that really catch big fish, then that's going to work. It's not about the money. It's about doing it right. And it's about, learning from the fish, co-mingling with the fishermen, and it's a beautiful thing. You have to hit things from different angles. Hard baits have to act a certain way, soft baits have to act a certain way. I'm basically now with freestyles and all the baits I have, I'm actually pushing the two, trying to find the middle of hard baits and soft baits.
Where they meet.
Yeah, out there. I think actually what Ben was telling me is that since your video, the Zoomer rats are twice as much as they've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find any slammers. What is? There's one other. Oh, the triple trouts. And God bless all three of those.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And you know what? That's how I like it, dude. I like somebody. We got all this pompous, pretty stuff, and boom, we got some hillbillies out in the middle of nowhere just stomping their ass.
Are you calling me a hillbilly, Mickey?
Well,
Are you calling me a hillbilly? Jab.
I got this book from North American Fisherman that said it's the secrets of the pros. This is the deal. In there it says the number one bait in the world is a rubber worm. Okay?
Rubber worm.
Rubber worm.
Gotcha.
The number one color in the world is black. And I was reading this and I just kind of sat back and I'm like, it's almost that's as stupid as a Cinco. I mean, that's when in my head it clicked on me. A freaking worm and black, right? That's how simple this is.
Simple, yep.
And that's where the mission fish came from. And I knew, but remember I told you I was on that bass assassin bite?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a stick bait and dead sticking on the bottom, blah, blah, blah. And so like slowly but surely I started tweaking and grinding and moving and winding. And I wanted a tail on it because it would swim on the fall.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a flat tail because the reason why these fish were hitting this bait is it would stay down in the weeds and it would pop up, show itself, and then go back down. And it's the cat and mouse game.
Sure.
The other thing is too is when you hit this bait good, it's got a fast, like a boom, something like they're like, oh, look like
Darts.
it's trying to get away.
Yeah.
And it really provokes them. You're like goating them into trying to figure out what it is, right? So I made mission fish with curl tails, did extremely good on those. Made mission fish with flat tails, did extremely, and then kick tails. And
Yeah, but I'm just now learning that the mission fish was your first real bait. Can you tell me more about? So I mean, the line through. I mean, is it the first swim bait that had the line through?
No, actually, it is. It is the first swim bait with a line through, but there was a pre-existing one, that DOA, which is, I forget what, it's a company out of Florida, and he's primarily a saltwater fisherman.
Okay.
I didn't get the I had put a patent on a mission fish. Okay, I started a patent on it, and I kind of got through this stage. I kind of felt like God was telling me, look, man, this is I feel like everything I have belongs to God, okay, as a Christian man. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like feel real stupid sitting here patenting things when, don't you think my God can take care of his stuff?
He'll sort that out.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
Right.
so for me to patent a mission fish, I got halfway through it and I spent over $8,000 on a patent, okay, on writing a patent up and submitting it and then countering what they're saying. Anyways, yeah, I'm the first guy to bring a line through, okay? And the reason why is because the way I was messing with those bass assassins is taught me this technique where I was modifying these bass assassins with a bullet weight inside the bait to give it just a slight fall, because at first, in the colder time, that real slow fall on the bass assassin would trigger a bite. But then it came warmer water, and with these big bass we're doing at Lake Mission Viejo, we're targeting these bluegill, and they're like little silver dollar bluegills. And what they'd have to do is work their butt off and hit them on these little highways where the grass is. These little bluegills don't run around in the open going, hey, they tuck real tight against, they run down these highways and these edges of grass and stuff. And these big bass were, boom, they were sitting right there. And if it came past their face, you were getting bit, and it was a 10-pounder or better every single time. I did it for 3 months straight, every single night.
So you're maybe putting like a little 16th or 32nd bullets in the head, and that was the original line through.
That was the way I was doing it, okay? But then when I designed this mission fish, I'm like, dude, nobody's going to sit there and do it. I went think about it. I went through this, how do you do this kind of thing?
Yeah.
And I developed that piece of lead, and then I developed the line through it, and then I developed the hook up through it. Then I had to figure out how to bend the hook so that you could get a hook set. And then now I have a new mission fish that's even better, man, because there's a hook right now that actually I don't want to say that I invented or anything, but I was talking to Dennis from Owner, and I was trying to tell him the reason why these worm hooks aren't getting bit is because here's your line tie, and then here's your barb for your worm hook. And the reason why is they're designing a real soft, nimble bait in between here, like a Cinco or something, that crushes easy and it gets a hook set easy, right? But on a swim bait, it doesn't. So I told him, if you have a 1-inch bait, center is 1/2 inch of the bait, right? Which means my line tie has to be a 1/2 inch over, right? So now if I put that in a bait, I got this hook, the barb is running right above the bait, and then my line tie is below it, which is an instant jigs. It's a hook set every freaking time. So they built the hook. It's called a freaking beast hook, and I'm coming.
Now, but doesn't the Beast have a screw lock on it?
Yeah, but what I did is I made a deal with Owner, so they're gonna sell me the hook without the screw.
Oh, you just take
and
the
so
screw
I
lock
just
off.
I reset up my hold on a second. Oh, this is
Take your time.
it's all right. But anyways, what I did is I reset up my mission fish mold.
Yeah. Can I zoom in on that, Mickey? Would you hold that up again?
Not anytime soon. So anyways, I reset up my mission fish, and I put my Rising Sun, which most people don't know about. It's kind of a sleeper bait. I put my Rising Sun tail on it, and right now I'm in the prototype stages, and I'm fishing saltwater, so that's where I'm spending most of my time on it.
Do the calico bass and the sandies like it?
They smoke it like it's no tomorrow.
Right.
Is your weedless swim bait box lonely like mine? I've got mission fish and 6-inch weedless HUDs. I mean, what else are you gonna throw? I mean, the market is so limited in that space. I'm so looking forward to 2012. Ken Huddleston releasing the 8-inch weedless Huddleston and Mickey releasing his version 2.0 mission fish. Yeah, I'm a little excited about that. You know why? My 2012 tournament season takes me to Lake Okeechobee and then to Lake Seminole. My first 3 months of 2012, I'll be on 2 world-class grass fisheries. Of course, weedless swim baits are on my mind. But these are not trout-fed lakes, so of course, baby bass, bluegill, frogs, terrestrials. You getting the picture? You see where I'm going with this? I really enjoyed the opportunity to reconnect with Mickey. I got a lot of good footage, a lot of his insights, perspectives, opinions, theories, most of which I'm planning on weaving into various projects I'm working on. I said it in Southern Trout Eaters, and I'll say it again. Mickey Ellis is one of the guys of swimbait fishing. His path to the big bait world came from salvation. It came from a strange turn of events that led him to Lake Mission Viejo, where he was down and out, going fishing after work, cracking beers, killing time. About that time, he finds God and produces the mission fish, his first bait. It's a great story, and as he'll tell you, it was meant to be.
Okay, so these guys are murderers and adulterers, and so God forgave them and used them in a mighty and powerful way, which says, even a thug is loved by God, right?
Right.
I mean, if you can't see my life and where I've come from and what I can do with these hands, if you look at all that and you can't possibly say, I wonder if that is God. I mean, I think anybody that knows God would just go, yeah, that man has a powerful gift.